Whew. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Brunch with Egnards. I feel like we have been doing this pretty much every day for the last week, so it doesn't seem like anything is out of the ordinary for me, and this is kind of just part of our day. We don't have a lot of roster reviews that we need to get through just because we did so many of them throughout the week. Oh, I'm not going to have my misfits today. Uh-oh. We've done so many of them throughout the week, so we'll see how long or how short of a time we spend together today. If anybody is joining us who is looking for a roster review, I'll do those second, right? So that we can just kind of get everything going. I'll do my TB. We can hang out, chat, share a drink, and we'll do that afterwards. It looks like my game frame might be a little bit off. Schools, and unfortunately I go back to school tomorrow, which kind of sucks. Alright, let's see what we got going on today. I haven't really checked in on my TB. I had to meet one of my students at the track this morning. They just got back from vacation. They had to do their black belt run, and it was either I didn't do a brunch or I met them at 7 in the morning. Which is fine for me because I am an early riser. But, I still had to drive a half hour to get down there. So let's see what's going on with the game. Let's see where we are at. I was in hot utils before, that's right. So I need to reload. Ooh, I wanted to save a mod loadout today because I wanted to try something a little bit different with TB, and I've been really dedicated to trying to figure out this sortie mission. So I wanted to mess with my mods and see where I was and go from there, I guess. I hate these missions. Now I got schools out stuck in my head. I do like these days quite a bit where I don't have to do as much. It's nice once TB is done, but then again, next Monday we have that dreaded TB End Conquest Day, which is one of the most awful days in my opinion, and I really wish they would change that. I would just like to get some debuffs on these guys. Get those stacks of formation down. But it seems like I'm not getting any assists from the Millennium Falcon today. No Millennium Falcon assists. None at all. Okay. Well, that was fun. Looks like this is going to be a loss today. Yeah, hopefully they don't make it worse, because there's always the potential that they make it worse. And I'm just really hoping that they choose to let us have the easy cycle for the entirety of the cycle. That would be really nice. Yeah, well, we figured that was going to happen. Really annoyed because I didn't get a single Millennium Falcon assist in the beginning of this match for the first, 5, however many it was. They have made some fixes in the past to certain things where they're like, oh, this guy was supposed to be, he has to survive. So they've done some things to make them tougher in the middle, but nothing too egregious. So they've changed like bosses slightly. So my one fear is they might take Zombie out of the boss, the Sector 1 boss. That's like the one thing that I am concerned that they might do. And there's other ways to get stop kills, but that's the one that I am like 50-50 on them maybe doing. Alright, this is always my favorite battle to do because it takes forever. Executors at the top. I don't need anyone else. Alright. Oh, you know what? I noticed I didn't change my road to R9 Gungans, which is silly of me. That should have been changed this morning. Well, I have plenty of time to do that while this battle runs forever. Let's do XP first. Can never get Slave 1 to do its stupid move here because of the way the battle works. Maybe I'll call it in last or something. I don't know. I guess it depends on where you are in the game. You know, I personally scavenge for them. I don't buy them with crystals. I feel pretty flush on G12 material, so I personally usually scavenge. But I'm also 11.4 million, you know, so I do think it largely depends on what part of the game you're at. I think there are better uses for crystals. And for the most part, it's very rare, in my opinion, that a R9 is that important that you need it that second. There are a few exceptions to that, I would say. If we start talking about things like, you know, being about to hit a requirement for something. We're going to try this first. Well, what you have to ask yourself is, so if you go for Leviathan, are you set to make Leviathan by the 20th? You know, because if you really think about it, is R9, you know, based on your account and based on your gear stocks and based on how far you are from the relics that you need for it, it is? So, I mean, what about your fleet ranks right now? Are you hitting your fleet rank? Like, are you hitting top 5? This out. Morning, Cat, or afternoon, whatever time it is for you. It's just like 9:30, I think, for you, PM. It looks like my chat source is not working. I'll have to fix that while we run this on its stupid auto basic. Well, if you're not hitting, where are you hitting in your shard in terms of the crystals that you're currently getting? Cap's in Japan. That's why whenever we do a thing together, it's always amazing because we have to coordinate off of like these crazy schedules. No, but what I mean is, if you only have Executor and you're in Kyber too, first of all, that's great. But what what place are you hitting in your fleet shard? There we go. Looks like that's working. Ships ranks 25, so you're hitting 50. You're not even pushing into the 20. 50 crystals. And how many keypads do you have right? I mean, how many keypads do you need right now? Because I don't know how many keypads you have, but how many do you need right now for the next ship that you'll be getting, right? Do you already have, like, for Leviathan, do you already have one of them, or do you need both of them? Do you need 30? Do you need all 40 that you would need? We've got, okay, so you need 33 left, and that's the only thing that's holding you back right now, correct? We're going to update this source while we're chatting. Road to R9. There we go. You know, for me, I just feel like if you're spending all of those crystals, what does the crystal cost on those things these days? I've literally never chosen to buy them for crystals in the weekly shop. $2,500, you're looking at 250 crystals each. Ugh. So you're looking at like 5,000, 7,500. And you want to get Leviathan by next week. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. Because you're looking at about 10,000 crystals, and then you have to update those ships too, right? You have to kind of remember, you have to keep in mind that in order for Leviathan to be useful against another Leviathan, you're going to need it at 7 stars, and that's 27,000 crystals right there. Honestly, the same thing really for profundity. I think maybe wait the month. I would use your get 3. I would use your raid rewards. I wouldn't use those crystals because you're going to need those crystals. I know that you need more crystals, but you have to remember that you're spending 10,000 crystals, and then you're going to have to spend 27,000 more. If you wait a month, right, till the next event, and you just use your get 3 or your GT3, your raid 3, you can use those crystals towards 7-starring it, which I think is going to be more advantageous for you. Let's see what else we got. I missed almost all of phase 1, so I'm doing awful on waves this time. I look like a slacker. Let's see, completed waves. Oh my god, 63. Holy shit, that's nothing. Let's pop in Jabba over here. Basically, what Captain and I are kind of getting at here is you're looking at the cost of what you want to do versus what you'd earn from it. And it's unlikely that you'll see the ROI if you just burn all of those crystals on getting the ship and then burn all of those crystals to bring it up again. unless you're taking out your Amex. If you're saying, hey, I'm buying a vault, then do whatever you want. But, I can't stop you from doing that. But I think if you wait until next event, you'll be able to organically get those R9s. And you will be able to, do what you need to do a little bit easier that way. Oof. That's just my thought process. That's the way that I would do things. There we go. While we're doing this TB, Dank, I have one review. Believe it, I did so many last week that I knocked through my entire backlog, and then my Guild of Miscreants all joined me, and I knocked through that entire backlog. I probably did like 30 reviews throughout the week. So I literally only have one on my docket, and I'm going to do that after TV. So if anybody is curious about their account and wants a review and they want to pop in that line, hit up our Discord, and I have an area there, and Captain has an area there, and just quickly fill that stuff out. It's very fast. Are you on our Discord? If you're on our Discord, pop in and I'll add you to that list. After we do TB, I'm going to look at whatever ones I have and we're going to do those ones. And if you're not on our Discord, I recommend being in our Discord. We just released our TB library, and it's not fully complete yet. I did all of the first 3 days of planets with the stuff that I already have. And then we're going to be constantly adding to that for everybody, which I think is just a really cool thing. So for anyone that's not there, I recommend going there. Let's see. Cap does different. If he's still here, I know that it's late for him, so he pops in and out. But if he's not, I'm sure he can explain it better. He does reviews similar to what I do, and then he also does very GAC focused, like breakdowns, but I'm not great at explaining it. So if he is here, he, I'm sure, can give you maybe a better overview of that. Let's look at these guys. Let's see, Dank. Let's see. So Dank, if you just go over to my area on Discord, I know you did it with Cap yesterday. Mine's just above him in the Discord. I ask for a little bit more information because I look at a few other things. If you fill that out while we're on stream. All right. Well, we can do a blind one. We can try to make it blind and see how that works. Oh, I didn't hit go. We're going in blind. What is your Discord name though, so I can tag you with a timestamp? Because I don't see a Dank in his area. Unless he just did it live. Yeah, the thing about reviews, and some people get nervous about doing them, and I see it sometimes, and they're like, oh, I don't want you to tell me to not go for this thing. Nothing that Captain Amazing or I say is law, like you can choose to follow our advice or choose to not follow our advice. It's just from our experience, what we believe is the best route to go, and what we believe will help you out the most. And sometimes when I do reviews or he does reviews, afterwards people will add extra context to it, and we'll go, oh well, that changes things. So it kind of depends, but it does. I found it just opens up perspectives for a lot of people. Yeah, well, that's sometimes why I ask people to do their why I ask people to do my survey, is because I'll say, don't do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this, and then people will say, oh, but this is my passion project. This is like what I want to do because I love this character, and I try really hard to kind of incorporate those things, though sometimes they're really bad. Let's see. We're gonna just, no, I don't want to do lights. Let's do Galactic Republic. I'm trying to stick to only light side guys here, so that I can use, my cat's not alright, so that I can use all dark side guys, on the dark notes. Is there a reason to ask for after? I think, you know what's funny? I think it's actually the opposite. Before Jabba is built, there's less reason to ask for a review, because he's just so important that almost every time I see something without Jabba, it's not always like, hey, this is the next thing you have to do, but this is what you have to do kind of short term. After Jabba, there are a lot more options as to what you want to do. And I think that the game opens up to where there's no like wrong answer, but there are better answers. So I think after someone has Jabba, you know, they have more freedom in terms of what to go for, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a more or a less useful option. Morning, JarJar. Oof. Let's see. So for Chris, for you, you know, a GAC related one from Cap might be more beneficial to you than one from me, because there's so limited options at 10.4 million, where it's like, well, you can do this or that and you can choose what to do. I do think that having a raid focus is really important for you at your level. For Captain, when he's looking more at GAC related stuff and he doesn't have to focus on ROI at that level, he can kind of give you more advice on what teams and counters you might be missing, to play a more focused, you know, GAC round. I saw your Discord message, C-Square, and I was like, oh man, my miscreants aren't going to be around today. They always screw things up real nice. JarJar, I'm doing good, man. You know, I had to get up a little earlier than usual today because I had to meet one of my hopefully future black belts for his black belt run super early. We're going to see a movie a little bit after the stream, because that's what we do every weekend. That dog movie, I think it's called Arthur. So we're going to go check that out. And then we have really nothing else on the agenda for today, which is nice. Good morning. I almost said your location. I was like, wait a second, let me think better of that. I forget that some of you I know personally now, and other people don't know you personally. Let's do Sith first. I really want to get my Bane to R8 for this eventually. I don't need any of these guys. No. Oof. Yeah, I can be useful even to a higher end account if there's ROI that somebody is missing. But I do think that when you're pushing 9 or 10 million, oftentimes there are less paths for me to look at. So it almost sometimes feels too easy for me to do. And there's a lot more subjectiveness because at that point there isn't really a wrong answer. It's kind of like do what you want to do. But I do think at that level, you do really need to consider the raid because, and I've said this before, I strongly feel that that CG messed up on the last raid, and they know that they messed up, and that they are probably going to make it a little bit harder for people to go crazy in this upcoming raid. So I think that people who are in guilds that are doing really, really well and like maxing out right now, they might have kind of like a wake-up call when this next raid comes out. I think that the newer characters are going to be just super, super important to it. What we're going to try to do, by the way, just so that those of you wondering, I have been really adamant about trying to beat this Swordy node in the dark side. And Night Sisters can beat the Rebels node very easily on auto. But I'm not going to use them for that today. I'm going to really try. I'm going to remod for super, super, super high advice, super, super high health, and just see if we can nuke that node. JarJar, I don't know if you're on our Discord, but this week we released a Territory Wars library, and it's not fully filled out right now. It's still being built out, and we're going to start taking submissions probably in a week. But our goal is to document every team that can reliably beat every node, to be super helpful for anybody who's having trouble in ROTE. And I think it's going to be just a great resource for the community as a whole. And we did that kind of in conjunction with Rising Phoenix, who is doing really well. I think they do like 39 or 40 stars in TB and even at very low GP. I agree, Chris. That's he keeps up. He keeps up with a much lower account. So like when it comes to it, I brute force things in GAC if I have to. And I don't usually have to because I play a very turtle game. He has to really think, and he does amazing stuff as he's building that account. I give him a ton of credit for doing that. Yeah, Cat for LS, CLS is for mid, Night Sisters go mid or dark side very easily. Resistance I like in mid. Some people use it LS, but I don't have a lot of luck doing that myself. All right. Recommend LV. I don't have any more Empire guys, so we're just gonna throw some randos with him and hope that we get something. That's the goal. Hope for something. That something might not come, though. I can't wait till these Gungans are done and I can start, like, upgrading my TB roster again. It really sucks not being able to build out these teams. Alright, well, that one's done. Okay. So what I need to do, I saved the mod loadout before I went live today on Hot Utils. And I need to delete some mods first so that I know that they're mods I'm not going to use. I already upgraded, no speed, sell those. Ooh, I want to keep any of these. No, we could sell those. We just gotta delete a couple mods here. Let's see what we got. Morning, Alon. Oh my god, some of these suck. Upgrade these first. Let's see how bad. Sell those. I need to make room so that when I go back later to reset the set, I'll have space for mods. So that's just for those who don't do this often. It's kind of what I'm doing. 405, that should be good. Alright, let's play with our Night Sister mods and let's see if we can pump these guys up a little bit for this. I want to get you a little bit higher. We're all health sets. Health, tenacity. Do I need tenacity? Yeah, I guess I need tenacity for that spot. Let's sort by speed. Let's do health sets. 23 is a little bit faster. No health. Let's do a health secondary. Try to get this one pumped up. Same speed. 31 defense, but we're going to lose some defense there. I don't know if I like that. I think I actually like this one a little bit better. Okay, we can do a health percent here. More speed. Not more health, though. She's got a really good health mod. She might have my best health mod for this one. Okay. An 8 point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to increase her health very much more. That's actually kind of cool if we think about it. We want a health percent primary. We'd like a health secondary. Okay, this one might work. Speeds are up too. Is this a better mod? 1600, 1100, 1200. I don't know if there's that much more I can do to pick her health up. Let's see. Maybe we'll just get rid of this tenacity and we'll see what's up. Is there a health percentage for this? I don't remember. Health. What do we got here? We have 4 health. Let's do that. We're popping her up. Let's see about Marin. Well, Marin's actually going to be hard to remod. Because I don't want speed. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. I think people have beaten this, just not reliably. So let's see what happens. We would like to get a couple deaths in here. That would actually help us out pretty greatly. Want old Daka to be healed. See how this goes. I don't want you to have brain worms. That would be nice. We want you to be alive. This is where it all goes south. One day that node will not elude us. One day that one will be finished. Right, let's just check these things out. 327, let's do 315. 495. 495. I think we're good there. Okay. Well, I see some more roster reviews coming in, so I'll have a couple. Pop this down. I'm gonna have to add GG to my my sources. Let's add Discord. There we go. Let's add .gg. Okay, there we go. I'd also like to get a quiz started. I know this will keep me going for a while, but good to plan ahead. All right, I can possibly take a look. We'll see. Let me write down your code. 113992739. All right, so since we're going into the part of the day where I have to talk a lot, I'm gonna go really quickly and just brew up another cup of coffee and get some amaretto in there. Give me 2 minutes. I will be right back. Plus, I want to use my sweet new source thanks to Moonborn. Man, coffee just hits different when there's some amaretto in there. So let's see what we got on the agenda today. 47:30. First run up, I got Steakumz, who's somewhere. There we go. Nope, not that one. This one. Let's pop this off. Top 20 of my fleet chart is basically all Leviathans. Profundity Executor, past that. Personally hate fleets. We all hate fleets. Don't push them much. I'd like to get some crystal income, but I'm quite a bit off at 200-ish. I have the requirements for Executor, but I've been struggling to clear the event. Not interacting with the Shard's Discord. Assault Battles, CT 1-2 on basically everything. Not too worried about that. Currently working on, just got a ton of conquest units in short succession and finished off my unlock of gas. Still getting shards. Oh, there you are, Steakumz. Awesome, cool. Plans are to do that and push towards GL Ray and Jedi Master Luke. I'm close to both. Ray is just gear relics. Master Luke is just Mon Mothma for stars, which is going to help you as well quite a bit. I'm 60% efficiency, 40% fun. I like to win, and I like to help push in Guild Wars and ROTE. I have most of my favorite characters up and running. My current thought is Starkiller, Gas, Rey, Master Luke, then maybe Jabba. If you ever think maybe Jabba, the answer is yes, Jabba. That's just how it works. To answer a couple things just really quickly, ships suck. I hate them. I've always hated fleets. It's not fun. They're boring to play. They're annoying. I can't not recommend them. They're just awful. I hate them, but they are so important. That crystal income really does unlock your ability to play the game, and it does unlock your ability to get, crystals and advance yourself at a faster rate, even if you are paying, right? So people who pay, you're still getting 20 to 30,000 extra crystals literally for free. People who are not paying, they're getting 20 to 30,000 crystals that they couldn't get before. So it really is a big deal. It's been a very long time since I've done the Executor event. I know it's coming up again, I think on the 15th. There are so many video resources on it. We'll just kind of take a look at your pilots and see what they're at in terms of ease of use. But, even if Executor can get you into the top 50 of your shard, that means you're going to be getting 50 crystals a day, which ends up being, over the course of a month, it's not a ton, but 1,500 crystals is much better than 0 crystals. So let's see what our account is looking like, shall we? Pop this over here. An 8 million too at this point, man. Jeez, okay. Let's see what we got going. We gotta get those fleets. It's crazy that you got here without that. Well, we might actually, being at 8 million, we might be able to counter meta. I don't remember if it's with Scythe or Marauder, but there is some counter meta stuff that you can maybe get to a little bit easier instead of having to heavily push. Things that wouldn't normally be options for other people. Let's pop this up. Collection. All right, 1, 2, we got 3 GL. Close to Ray, right? Okay, so we're just finishing up the relics for that. Let's just check this out. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to pull up a video to kind of help you as well that I can send to you later. I want to see if I could find it. So we have layup, profundity. It's like you actively avoided even getting anywhere near this, which is kind of crazy. What about scythe? We'll look at that in a second, but pretty close. Because right now, your first priority needs to be getting something from fleets, really. Ships. Yeah, I mean, I think you've talked to Cap before, so you know you have our Discord, right? If you go pop on my area of that Discord, it makes it a lot easier for me. How close are you on site Steakumz? Check this out. Because, I mean, here's the thing. You do need a GL fleet, but I think we can get you there faster to being able to do things within your fleet shard. And I think Scythe is basically going to be your key right now. And you have GI. I don't see the Scythe here, so I'm just curious how close you are to that. One, two, three. All right. While I wait, I'm going to just look at a few other things here that are unrelated to fleet. So, not Sith Empire. We want to look at Sith. So you obviously have C, so you should be able to do CT3 on places of power. You know, if you're not, I'm looking at our mods for Sith Eternal, and I mean, generally, when it comes to a GL, 247, all right, so not terrible. When it comes to like a GL, you're going to want some better, that's okay, that's fine. You're going to want some better mods. If you're not doing CT3 on places of power already, and I'm saying that just because I'm looking at this and you're saying CT1, 2 on basically everything. Pop-up help lead with Sith Eternal, Darth Malik, Nihilus, and I would say, do you have her? No, Treya's not up there, so Nihilus and maybe Darth Vader just because of Merciless Massacre. If you remod these guys to be super fast, you can do places of power pretty easily at 3 stars without any problems. Chupio, 1, 2, 3. You should be, same thing, you should be doing CT3 on military might. If you're not currently doing it at CT3, it's largely going to be a speed issue. And I'm kind of, you know, I look again, like I'm looking here, and that might be the case, but CT3 should be relatively easy for you on military might with your CLS squad. This is a case of absolutely you need to be remodding for these, you know, specifically for these events. And I mean, I'm looking here at Chupio, and it looks like, you know, there's even like a not matching set in there. with that potency arrow, for some reason, when it could very easily be, a health arrow and give you a little bit extra. I would definitely remod for military might, because that should be easy for you. Like, hands down, no questions asked. Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't need the greatest mods, but it should be something that he's easily doing. Same thing with Forest Moon, man. Veer, Stark, Piet, Dark Trooper, and I mean, Moff Gideon might be able to do it, but I really like Range Trooper. I would get him as a super short-term project. Get Range Trooper to G12. It should be easy for you. It's all core gear, so you're gonna have to like bring him up. But if you get Range Trooper to G12 and you mod these guys fast, and again, Veer, Stark, Piet, Dark Trooper, and Range, you should be doing CT3 of both Forest Moon and of Rebel Roundup with no problems at all. So these are just like really super easy things. Those first two should be no problem in the short term. This one, literally, it's just Range Trooper, and Range Trooper is kind of a keystone of a lot of Imperial Trooper teams anyway. And again, you only have to get them to G12. Like, you don't have to use any Chirotech in order to do that. Okay, Jedi. You're probably doing CT2 on Jedi. I did it relatively early on. You're not going to do CT3 without Jedi Knight Luke. But you shouldn't have a problem otherwise if you're not doing CT2. But going off of what you were just saying, we should be good. Cap, it looks like we're just trading Prime subscriptions now. That's awesome. I think mine's running up. I gotta pop back on and do that. Inquisitors, you should be doing CT2, definitely. And again, that seems to be what you said you're doing. You can do CT3 with really good modding, but it's such a pain in the ass. Yeah, so Cap, it's probably not even a Japan thing. I don't even know, but what I found out is that in the last like year or two, both YouTube and Twitch, you like can't natively do it through the app anymore for the Prime, and you can't natively do YouTube subscriptions through the app unless it's an old channel, just because Apple, Android take a cut, right? Apple, Google take a cut. So now you physically, like, in order for me to subscribe to you, which I had to do, I had to go to the actual website and I had to do it, which was annoying. And very counterintuitive, and it took me way too long to figure out. But going back on this, you can do CT3. Oh, with a VPN too. Oh, it sucks. You can do CT3, but it's not worth it. So if you're doing CT2, stick with that. And let's see where these guys are at. And you don't have any Zetas on them, so you might not be able to do this without Zetas, but your Night Sisters are high enough. Though you have Captain Rex, actually, because you have Leia, so let's see these guys. You're probably doing CT1. You said CT1, CT2 on all of them, so you should be doing CT1 here. But basically, when it comes to the first couple that I looked at, you should have been doing CT3, right? Places of Power, Military Might, Forest Moon, and Rebel Roundup. You're very close to. Just get Range Trooper. It'll make it super easy for you. Jedi, you're kind of where you need to be anyway. But these are like super fast projects for you. And it's going to pay dividends in terms of what you can do, because you're going to be getting extra relic material for pretty much no cost, right? The relic material at CT3 is not always worth doing as like its own thing, but you're already there. So invest in remodding, and you have hot utils, you said. So what I like to do with hot utils, and I did it this morning before I got on stream, is I made a base set, right? I took a snapshot of my whole mod roster so that when I messed around with my Night Sisters mods just to try and get that health higher, later on I can go back and I can just reset that set super quickly. So with hot utils, it makes your life so easy to be able to do that. Hot utils is going to try to mod your whole roster, but when you're doing it for an assault battle, you're not trying to remod your whole roster. You're trying to give your absolute best to a very specific team to try and punch through something that you couldn't punch through before. What I would say is you're probably, let me look at Bam, actually. Let's see where he's at. I don't know why I moved to Leia, but cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're gonna use the Executor fleet, you need to get Beskar Mando to at least R5. You can do the event below R5. You can do it without relics, but I don't think it's worth it, and it just makes sense. It just makes sense to do it. It'll make it a lot more usable for you, but with your current roster, I don't think that is going to get you to Fleet 1, right? So on the 15th, try to get that Beskar Mando to R5, do the event, watch some videos on it, if you can watch those videos. But because of where you are in the game, I think it makes sense, one, to really heavily invest in getting yourself Scythe. And two, start doing 5 battles a day on TIE Defender if you haven't already started doing those 5 battles a day on TIE Defender. Because between those two ships, you should be able to do the what the name of it? The Chimera counter to most Leviathans. And it might not get you rank 1 every day. But it'll get you a more consistent amount of crystals each day for a very low cost. And I think that's going to be largely really important for you, is to kind of start getting that prominence. Start reaching out to your fleet Discord once you get Executor, and they might be like, oh, well, you don't have anything. And just agree to climb organically. So not to expect people to roll over for you. But you're going to want to kind of learn that Leviathan counter with Chimera to make it pretty fast for you. And at 247 shards, do you buy the Conquest Pass? The big Conquest Pass, or no? I'm not saying to do it. I'm just curious. A lot of people I've talked to lately have been buying it for Proving Grounds. Let's take a look as we're doing this. GL Ray, Jedi Master Luke. Ray is just gear and relics. Just Mon Mothma. Okay, let's pop over here while we're waiting. You buy the expensive one, yeah. So the $30. So you're looking at 40 free shards of Scythe each month. 280. So you're gonna go to 280 to 320. So you're looking at 2 to 3 months. If you maybe refresh one of those one time, you're looking at 2 months. If you do no refreshes, you're looking at 3 months and having Scythe. And that should kind of track with having Defender at 7 stars. You'll probably need to bring Iden up just a little bit. Solo Straight has a great video on it. If you Google Solo Straight Chimera Leviathan counter, he's got a really, really nice breakdown of how to do that battle. And I think that that's going to be the cheapest way for you to consistently hit the top 10. And the quickest way for you to consistently hit the top 10. So yes, get Executor, but keep in mind, you know, it's probably it's not going to be the fastest way for you to hit 1. In terms of your other projects, so again, I would recommend doing range as a super short-term project to G12. I would recommend remodding for those assault battles just to get them. I would recommend really investing in Scythe and starting TIE Defender. But outside of that, let's see how close you are to Luke. Oh, you're very close. Okay. All right, what about this? Okay. I would finish Rey because, well, you're close on both of them. See, look at that. Dank even lower than I'm assuming. You know what? Let me pull up this too. Let's see if I have it here. Oh no, I think I got rid of. I think I took the source down. Oh no, here it is. It's a Reddit post. Hold on. I'm always on the pulse of Reddit. And Steakumz on YouTube, right? So hopefully that helps you out. But I think that's going to be your quickest way. I think with where you are with Luke and Rey, you're about equally distant from Jedi Master Luke and Rey. I would prioritize Jedi Master Luke. And do you have Jedi Knight Luke? He's not up here yet. Where is he? Is he just low? You just got him. Oh, he's only R5. So you should be able to do CT3. I guess I must have just missed him up here. You should be able to do CT3 of Ground War as well with a super slow remod Jedi Knight Luke to have absolutely no speed at all. You do. I just missed him. Reload him to no speed at all. Reload Hermit Yoda to be like super, super, super fast. Like fast as all hell. And then I would probably try a team like Jedi Knight Luke, Hermit Yoda, General Kenobi, Jedi Knight Revan, and maybe Grandmaster Yoda, but maybe Jedi Knight Cal. I've never tried it with Cal. And you should be able to control that Ground War battle by ending every single round with the call to action, or not call to action, the Jedi Knight Luke Granted special, so that you speed limit right from the beginning of a round. And you kind of want to time it so that you also have your stun, so that you can stun right at the beginning of a round as well. You should have no problem doing that if you remod that team really fast, but Jedi Knight Luke, absolutely no speed at all. Right? These are all things that you're leaving on the table right now. Why am I bomber, not wing? Silly me. Do you not have the Rebel ship? Is that? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And he should be able to do it. It's remodding for that team, and it's lazy. Like, I get it. I don't like to remod. I don't like to do things like that. But it'll pay dividends, right? Your half hour doing that one day is going to pay dividends for years. So it's worth doing. Now, just based off of where you are, well, I want to see one more thing before I give you your big projects. Do you even have Ben Solo yet? Oh, you do. Okay. What about these guys? Got Bosch, obviously. Chris Tan's pretty close. Skiff's pretty close. Start getting those guys up to 5 battles a day. So you're telling me that you are thinking Starkiller, Gas, Ray, Master Luke, then maybe Jabba. Where are you on Stark? Do you have him and you just don't have him high enough? Okay, alright, so you have Starkiller. So yeah, Relic Starkiller, he'll be useful for you. You have Gas, so Relic Gas, he'll be useful for you. I would honestly say go for... After Starkiller and Gas, your goal is Ray, Luke, Jabba. I would say switch that around. Okay, and I would do Luke first. It's going to just benefit you so much more than Ray is right now. I would do Luke first. And then my personal opinion would be to hold off on Ray and do Jabba. I would do Luke, Jabba, Ray. But Ray is much closer than Jabba, so if you want to get her out of the way, I understand. I would never do Ray, Luke, Jabba. You know, at worst case, I would do Luke, Ray, Jabba. But personally, I would do Luke, Jabba, Ray. You know, I've looked at a lot of your mods as I click through different things, and your mods at your GP level are really suffering. And you need to kind of shore that up. And I just feel like it will help you considerably to get him quicker than Ray will help you. But I think it's just about switching up your lineup just slightly, right? So again, my personal is Luke, Jabba, Ray. I get it if you want to do Luke, Ray, Jabba. And then it's all those little things that I told you about. Because you're leaving a lot of resources on the table, right? And the fleet thing, I know you would put it up much meaner, right? Cap has, like, he likes to roast people. Like, he's out for a well-done steak every time he's doing a roster review. A well-done steak. I once had a boss. We went to Vegas for a convention, and she took me to this really nice steakhouse, like in the Bellagio, where I had to, because we weren't supposed to go to any nice things, so I didn't pack any nice clothes, and I had to buy like a $100 polo shirt just to enter this place because I didn't have any good things. And she ordered a well-done butterflied steak, and I should have known that that was the beginning of the end of me respecting her as a person. You know, Steakumz, the fleets, if you watch that fleet battle that I sent you, that should help you if you get Scythe and Defender. I think for someone who doesn't know mods really well, and for someone who maybe doesn't want to learn mods really well, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, I know mods at like a 7. Okay, there are people that know mods way better than I do. I just have a little bit more than normal. Your modding right now is like a 3. I want to get you to like a 5. And if you can get your modding strategy to like a 5 out of 10, you'll be mostly pretty good in almost all aspects of the game. And really, the idea is just a lot of speed on everything. A lot of speed on everything. And there are some exceptions to that. But I think if you just use that general rule, you'll be in a much better position. Ziggy, there's a huge difference between almost well done and like burnt to a crisp and butterflied. The only person I've ever seen order a butterflied steak from a fancy steakhouse. Like, there's no reason. There's no point. Why are you wasting $125 on a brick of charcoal that you're chopping in half like that? It makes no sense. But Steakumz, you know, I think once you have Jabba, it is going to really help you. And if you just remod those speeds for these specific battles, for these specific things, that you will have a better time because you're going to be getting so many more resources each month, which with really, really limited extra requirements needed, if that makes sense. As far as like butterflying a steak, it's kind of like cutting through the middle of it and making it less thick. And it's like kind of takes it and cuts it in half almost, like through a cross section. And it's not worth it. Don't ever do it. But I think you're good. I think it's just about doing those things. And I don't watch a lot of Darth Loquitur's stuff, so I'll have to take Dank's word on it. But Cap's also got a nice modding guide on how to do the mods, and people are constantly on our Discord like asking for it. And then we got Kunkinator popping in, and he's always got a link to it. Those modding resources will help you pretty considerably. All right, so we're gonna move over here. We're gonna timestamp this to Dank, and I only have your ally code, so we're gonna just kind of type that in, and we're gonna go a little bit blind here and see what's going on. 8326888. Yeah, for chicken it's fine. 777. Did I type that in wrong? Huh, let's check. Let's pop back. Maybe I typed that in wrong. Oh, I did too many sevens, that's why. There we go. All right, so I'm going into this one blind. I know nothing about this count other than this person is on right now and wants a review. So let's see where we're at. 7.4 million. Doing pretty good in fleets. Pretty okay. It seems relatively inconsistent though. I don't know if that's a time issue or if that's because you're struggling with some Leviathans. If it's a time issue, that's not something that we can solve, obviously. If it is a... Oh! The Lysol, man. Is he here yet? He is. Cheers. If you're here, I set up your stuff, by the way, before I popped in. So your notifications on Discord, they're all set up for you, and you're a part of the onboarding now, so you're all good. Welcome to the ecosystem. Hopefully that helps you out and helps everybody out, and we're all perfect. So it's time. Okay, time is not something I can solve, obviously. Time is something that, it does suck. That's why my when I do my fleets, it's kind of at a time of the day that's a little bit easier for me. But I also look for ways. I also look for ways that I can kind of make the battle more automatic. So you have to post it yourself, and we kind of prefer it that way just because then you can kind of tailor the message. But once you do that notification, and sometimes you don't want to notify people. I don't always notify people of certain things. But once you do that notification, anybody that's linked up to you is able to do it. I think there is a way with the Dinobot. Kunkinator has it set up on us where we can maybe make it automatic. And I know you have a Discord as well where we might be able, if you don't know how to do announcement channels, we can talk about that later. I know how to do that and kind of push it through multiple channels. It's a kind of cool feature of Discord. Let's see what we got here. 2-year-old account, 1, 2, 3, 4. Terra Malicos, that's pretty nice for a newer account. I know that Captain Amazing is in glee right now with this Jedi Master loot going on. We have Jabba, so I gotta raise my Jabba counter for before, right? So let's do that for before, but I don't have to do it right now. which is nice. Let's just kind of take a quick, brief overview of our different things going on here, and then we'll take a look at our assault battles. So we have... You can also, but if you're doing 12-hour shifts and they're inconsistent, it can be hard. I do reset mine every 6 months because of daylight savings time to kind of keep my time consistent. Lord Vader, Star Killer, we've got Inquisitor, Jabba, we got Executor, we have Profundity, we're not really there for that. Didn't bother with Leia. Doesn't matter, you still got them. You don't get to get roasted by me, which is nice. Let's see what we're doing on our assault battle, shall we? So we are... Well, I don't even need to look at this because you are doing CT3 on Places of Power just because of having First Order, just from having SLKR. You might be able to do it at 3 stars with like Papa Palp, Treya, Nihilus. Maybe not yet without a really solid tank. So we're not going to worry about that though because you are doing CT3. Military might, you should be doing military might at CT3 just by process of having Jedi Master Luke. You should be doing ground war at CT3 just by process of having Jedi Master Luke. You should be doing CT3 of Rebel Roundup now, starting now. I know that you just got him 2 days ago, just by process of having Jabba. Imperial Troopers, let's check out Forest Moon. Forest Moon might not be in super great shape, but let's check our Separatists. Alright, so Forest Moon is not in the greatest shape right now. We're going to come back to that though in a second. Your Inquisitors, you should be doing at least CT2 here. I know you can do CT3 without Reva, but it's a pain in the ass, so it depends on how much you hate yourself. I don't think it's a priority before you have Reva. Where are my Night Sisters at? And let's check those Phoenix. Okay, so with having Hera with Omicron, I mean, I would slightly invest in this team a little bit, and I would definitely start farming Captain Rex. T3. So, not CT3, right? Like T3, like which is Mythic tier. You're not doing the challenge tiers based on what I'm seeing. Right? Because the challenge tiers are the ones that are important to us. And based off of what I'm looking at, I'm going to look back at your Imperial Troopers, but I can't imagine that. I would be doing 5 battles a day on Captain Rex right now and getting him to at least G12. You already have the Territory Wars Omicron, which is not the greatest one in the world, but you've already invested a little bit in this Phoenix team. Captain Rex really does transform... On Forest, well, so then you're talking about not Forest Moon. You're talking about Fanatical Devotion. With Captain Rex at like G11, G12, and some decent modding, and probably the unique Hera's unique Zetaed, or Leader Zetaed. You should be able to do Secrets and Shadows at CT1. Those CT1s are the most important. CT2 and CT3, they're luxuries that you do want to invest in, but you don't want to like hyper invest in. Well, I'm confused because you're saying Inquisitors and Forest Moon, but when you're talking about Forest Moon, what are you talking about with tier 3? Are you talking about Mythic tier or that very last challenge tier? Because I can't imagine you being on the very last challenge tier. With the super crazy Poplo or whatever it is, low gray, or who hits really hard. But Secrets and Shadows, I'd be doing Captain Rex. I'd be getting him to like G11, G12. Invest in this team just a little bit so you can get that CT1. Because it's going to be a very usable team with Captain Rex as well. It's not going to be like a useless sit on your bench kind of team. I get what you're saying. I apologize. I understand. I got you. Right, because I got you. Yeah, because Inquisitors are Empire. I understand now. We're on the same page now. We're on the same page now. I have been told it's hard to do CT3 without Reva. I've never had to do it with Inquisitors. I know with Reva you can do it. So your Force Moon actually is in fairly good shape, which is good. That means your assault battles as a whole are pretty solid right now, right? As far as what level Reva needs to be for CT3, I mean, I don't know. I did it so long ago before Inquisitors were even a thing. Let's just kind of take a look at what we got going on here. Four months for Reva. Let's see what's kind of missing here. I want to see what we got going on here with everything. Okay, you have Rey. I mean, I would take on Zori as a short-term project as well. I love that Boombadir is 6-star. That's great. I'm a big fan of that. But I would take Zori to 7 stars as a short-term thing, because you have Rey, you have the team, and she's like, I resisted doing this team. Solo, I was just like plugging the hell out of you before you missed it. I was very resistant on the Zori team. I did it like 3 months ago, and I'm super happy with it. And you already have Rey, so it's a very, very quick, solid team that you can kind of do. Let's see. Talking about speed. This is one of Captain Amazing's favorite games, right, to play. And I'm not going to butcher the game by pretending I know how to play, but we're going to just see. Oh, I just added this to my reading list for whatever reason. And now it's stuck on my screen. There we go. Yeah. Embo for the Omicron for TW. And you're gonna see some transformative shit with these mods now that you have Java. You know, we're not going very far down in your roster, and I'm seeing some of your fastest characters. I don't know why Jawa is one of your fastest characters, but I really would like to see your mods increase considerably. I'm assuming this mod on Rey, right? There's no speed at all on it, but you just want really high health for right now. Looking to replace that at some point. Like, why is Bodhi Rook your fastest character? Like, why? I don't get it. It doesn't. Did you get like did Cap destroy you on this? Like, he has more mod speed than your GLs, which is insane to me. Just to say that you have the best Bodhi in the game, is it like a vanity thing? Because I mean, I get that. That's my goal with my JarJar eventually. I know I'm not gonna be able to do it right off the bat, but that is my eventual goal. Just to have a little bit of fun. OP Saw team, absolutely. It looks like you really want these Gungans, yeah? I just noticed the Boss Nass. I can't wait until... I'm hoping this week, because he came early to Shard, so I'm hoping he comes early to farming. He's the pilot without a ship. I mean, basically I'm trying to get into your head. You know what I mean? Like right now I'm trying to get into what makes you tick before I can really offer you anything. Because it's just so interesting where all of our projects are. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but ugh, it's probably easy because he's not that great of a character overall, like in the grand scheme. I mean, listen, you're gonna see a huge increase in your modding depth with Java now. So hopefully, next time we take a look at this, we'll see some better speeds overall. But like, I'm looking at your Jawa, who's one of your fastest characters, and there's so many other characters that you'll largely benefit from more. I do think I don't think I'm going to be able to convince you otherwise, but I do think that you need to do Zori as a short-term project. I do think that you need to do Captain Rex as a short-term project, which I had mentioned before, and I saw afterwards you kind of put that in the chat as well. That's fair. I mean, it's fair. I get it. It does. If JarJar sucked, like I was still gonna R9 him. Did I see? Where's our Fury and our Malgus at? Shard-wise. Just holding mods, but like why? Put them to use. Like you're putting some, not all of his mods weren't great, but like use them. But I am curious where your Malgus is and where your Fury is in terms of shards that you have. And I know you're at work and you probably can't check, but do you have like some insight, some idea, some level of where they would be? So that we can kind of get the full picture. Malgus 250 of 279, Fury's about half. Okay, good to know. Let's see. Okay, B28. Sith Fighter. Oh, well, congrats on that. So yes, and I think you're in Kyber 2. Not Kyber 2. Kyber 3, if I remember correctly. Kyber 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Cat. Let's take a look at this again. Nope. Let's pop out of Seventh Sister because we do not need that. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. There we go. My computer is not cooperating today. It was like, you promised me a short brunch, and it's not happening. See how far. It's not bad. Let's see this. Okay. Okay. Alright. I want to just check one more thing, and then we're going to look. We're going to talk. There we go. Okay, so here's the thing. Zori and Captain Rex are short-term projects. I would definitely do them because Zori, you already have all of the other tools for her, and Rex is going to help you with Secrets and Shadows, and it's going to help you with something else going forward after. Now, for someone in your position, I generally would not recommend going for Gungans, but you've already pretty heavily invested in them, so it seems like a waste not to continue on that trend, right? I can only imagine Boss Nass is already there. I can only imagine that Captain Tarples, I'm assuming, going to be shard farm or shipment farming. I can only assume Gungan Bombardier, you're going to be shipment farming. And I imagine something similar is going to kind of happen with that last one, the Phalanx. So I wouldn't normally recommend somebody kind of go after them, but it just seems like you've invested the resources in it already, so it doesn't make sense not to do it going forward. For the rest of the Gungans in order to get JarJar. Now, I do think JarJar is either going to be a permanent event or it's going to be a monthly event like Bo. I don't think it's going to be a 3 or 4 month cycle. That would not make sense for the raid that's coming up. But I do think that you should give some degree of importance to them. Just because if you don't, then you've wasted resources on this team already. And there is the idea of sunk cost fallacy. But it's not like it's not going to be a team that isn't going to be useful in the short term. So while it's not something that I would say start from scratch at your level, it is something that I say you might as well just keep going on. After those 2 short-term projects and after doing the Gungans, I do think, especially because you're building up Captain Rex anyway for that Phoenix team, that I would be going for GL Leia at that point. You're already in that ecosystem with Profundity. You're already in that ecosystem with, Jabba. You're already in that ecosystem with Jedi Master Luke. So it is going to be a fairly... You don't have to get him day one. I'm not saying get him day one. I'm just saying that it does seem like it is a character that you're already putting investment into, and you're going to probably want to get him early on so that investment pays off. But if I were to do something, I would say do those 2 short-term projects, do the Gungans, do GL Leia. You're already fairly close to her, not for the raid, because the raid will obviously be over by that point, but you're in that kind of like, everybody talks about like that triangle of characters. You're kind of in that triangle already and fairly close, so I would consider that. Ender Escalation 3 kind of sucks. It's not really a useful event in terms of building towards it, but it is a nice free extra to have, so it'll just be something that's kind of added under your belt. And I would also, while doing that, give a little bit of degree of prominence to Leviathan. So I'd be working on your Sith ships. It does seem like you have a little bit of work to build towards them. So you're not going to need to refresh Proving Grounds or anything. But I do think that if you want to largely push into Kyber 2 or into Kyber 1 a little bit later on, or if you want easier fleet climbs where you can more consistently climb without having to worry about your time management, that's just something that should be really largely on your radar. So that's kind of how I would play your account. First. That's kind of how I would play your account and where I would go with it. Once you have Jabba, a lot of options open up on how you want to play, but I think that that's what makes the most sense for you with where you are. And I think that over the next couple months, you'll also see a considerable increase in your mod depth just from having Jabba. Solo, get Tarple Shards or Bombardier Boomer, right? Tartans will hit farming first. Tarples. You mean Boss Nass will hit farming first. Boss Nass should hit about, if my math is right, my math is all guessing based on patterns. If my math is right, Boss Nass will hit farming, and you'll have between 15 and 30 days after it hits farming in order to kind of like 2x or 3x him. So Boss Nass, for me personally, I'm not buying shards. Tarples, I don't think is going to have a ton of time as a farmable character. So once Tarples goes to shard farming, or shipment farming, I am going to be shipment farming Tarples. Boomadeer, if you want to get JarJar early, you're probably going to need to shipment farm if you didn't already finish out the marquee. I chose to finish out the marquee. And Phalanx, if you want to get them early, you're going to absolutely have to finish out that marquee. And that's for like a day one or event one unlock. You know, not everybody is going to do that, but once again, we don't know anything about the event, and I do largely think it's either going to be a permanent event or it's going to be an event that kind of hits monthly like Bo-Katan did, so it'll be a little bit easier for most people overall. All right, let's move on here because I think we kind of developed the path that we need. I see a couple more of these are popping in, so we are going to pop this one on. Dugu. Get our timestamp 1:43:10. All right, let's see. Last minute brunch review. So that means let's just pop this one up here. If you want to do the Whale of 6 shards, it's 6 shards plus 10 shards. So 10 out of 100 if you want to get it to 7. If you just want to get it to 6 overall from the end, I don't know the exact amount that you need. I didn't do the math on that, but because you're building towards it that quickly, it just should be something that you kind of give some degree of prominence. Otherwise, you're wasting all of those resources. So Dugu says, last minute brunch review request. I'm probably an efficient farm guy. For me, efficiency is fun. I've only spent money on LS bundles, top 5 in fleets, 4-star executor. Very iffy on getting 1 or 2 because of 7-star executor with mostly 4-star. No discard as far as I know. Start a Discord, right? Do it. It'll make your life so much easier in the long run. CT 1 to 2 on all but the Jedi Inquisitors. Actually, only... Okay, so the rest are CT 2 then. FO Sith is CT 1. Finishing core teams. Get 7-star C3PO. Relics for CLS teams, so I hopefully have a viable PG team for some unlocks. Level and gear up Padme, GG, get shards for Jedi Knight Revan, fix the Jedi AB in the background, passively getting 5-star finalizer, then finish relic requirements for SLKR, do his event, probably interrupt other farms when SLKR is ready. After the above, I'm thinking of going directly into JML, even skipping right, even though I bought the bundle. Let me know if this is a bad idea. Next major passive farm during JML is probably collecting all the Cairo for unlocking SK, another bundle I bought. Haven't thought about next GL fleet, but open to thoughts on when to switch. And when do I farm other core teams? Sith Trio, DR, and Gas. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of a look at this, but it does sound, let's see. Where are we at? Oh, actually, no, never mind. Scratch what I didn't say, but was about to say. We're actually in a pretty good spot for where I am. Okay, so... let's see, GLS 88. Let's see what we got here. And pull up this GG for you. Bronzium 2, 4-star. So again, I would, if you haven't reached out to people to see if there's a Discord, I would. If nobody has set it up, I would just set one up. It's super easy to do. It just makes everybody's life easier. Once you get this to 5, Executor to 5, you should be able to hit 1 relatively consistently against the 7-star executors, and there are a lot of resources on how to do that online. There's a lot of video footage. I'm sure Solo Straight's got something on that, but 5-star is kind of the sweet spot with executor on being able to take out 7s and being able to take out profundities. Decepticons, cheers, man. Look at that. Yeah, we got those sweet Twitch icons now. Some of my emojis that Moonborn had set up for me. Let's see. So we got no GL, but SLKR is on the horizon. Let's see what this is looking like. Hermit's not up there yet. We do have Wampa, which means you're probably going Now keep in mind that in order to do Jedi Master Luke, you you are gonna need Rebel Officer Leia. So when those bounty events come around, prioritize her. Otherwise, cheers, man. Thanks for joining us. Um, Otherwise, you're gonna have to use a lot more get to, right? So anytime the bounty event comes around, which is like once every 2 months, prioritize the Rebel Officer Leia shards. 'Cause it just sucks to use get to towards her when it comes to Jedi Master Luke. Let's see. Okay, very close. We're just waiting on finalizer. That's pretty good. It just seems that where you're at, you are going to have to use some get to for Rebel Officer Leia if we want to do this the right way. Yeah, but it's going to be so quick getting there, you are going to have to push some get to, which does kind of suck. You know, you could slow it down by doing Rey first, and then it'll take you a little bit longer, and then you won't have to use as much. But it's really about, you know, what we want to do for our efficiency as a player. Razor. Where's our pilot level on this? Okay, so you did bring him up. Good. You do have Ebon Hawk. Good. And you got relics on them. All right. What about Outrider? I would be starting 5 battles a day on Outrider. 100%. No questions asked. Finalizer's 4, so you're just kind of waiting. And I do recommend the waiting. Buying one. Okay, so you're already doing it. Okay. I do recommend waiting on finalizer because you are going to be in that severe Zeta crunch, right? Which is fine, but it basically means that even when you get Kylo or you move on, you want to slow things down, right? So that's fine. You're doing kind of like the slow farm route on SLKR. I don't think it's a bad idea to skip Rey early on. She is great when you have some of the newer tools for her, but the older tools for her are not, you know, super amazing. I'm gonna check, just because I'm curious compared to, you know, Dank and the last one I looked at, just to see some of these things. All right. Let's see where we can go from here. Veers, Stark, Piet, Range, and Dark Trooper. If you like do a crazy remod, you probably can do Forest Moon with what you have: Veers, Stark, Piet, Range, and Dark. With right where they're at, just you'll have to do a full speed remod. You'll have to survive the opening barrage, which might be a little bit of luck since you only have one relic. But once you get your first kill with that team, if you really remod for heavy speed, the other team isn't even going to get a turn. FO Sith, we're not going to really worry about this, but because you're getting SLKR soon anyway. Yeah. Let's see where military might. You said CT2 also, which is good. Not yet. Working on those Ewoks for C3PO. Okay. GG, get charged for Jedi Revan. I think in terms of bigger picture projects, so I see we have some smaller projects. C3PO is largely going to be very useful for you, absolutely. You know, Jedi Knight Revan will definitely bring you up to that CT1. Some of those smaller projects distracting you right now are going to help you not have to spend all of your get to on Rebel Officer Leia, because the event might come around 2 or 3 times to give you some more of those shards, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think for Forest Moon you can also use, and yes, that's a newer way to do it. That's a newer way to do it with a low investment. But I mean, based on the Imperial Troopers we have, it's really just speed, right? So with the troopers we have, if we just pull the speeds out, we should be able to do it without even having to invest really anything at all. Your small projects distracting you from the big projects is going to actually help you. It doesn't always help people out, because sometimes you want to kind of push the big projects. For you, because you need those Rolo shards, they're not necessarily a bad idea. Yes, finish SLKR. That's going to give you the CT3 on Places of Power, and you're just kind of waiting on Finalizer at this point, which is good. I do think that I would go for Jedi Master Luke before Rey. I think that he is largely a much more important GL, especially for your level. Good morning, Joey. I think that when we're looking at PG teams, both SLKR and Jedi Master Luke are really versatile PG teams also. So it'll give you some really good options for getting some of those things. I know like SLKR, even without Ultimate, takes out the Fury Class 1. And SLKR can beat every single PG, just not always with an intuitive First Order team. Sometimes it requires something else. You are kind of in that prime case of going the Jabba route, right? So if I had to give us our big projects, I would say SLKR, Jedi Master Luke, Jabba, then go back to Rey. And that'll hit you on 4GL relatively fast, and that's going to shore up a lot of your assault battles. Right, Jabba will give you Rebel Roundup 3 if you don't get it first with your Imperial Troopers. Jedi Master Luke will give you CT3 of Ground War and Military Might. SLKR is going to give you Places of Power. Rey is going to give you shit, because Rey doesn't have any assault battle viability, except for BB-8 as the only character, which is stupid. But you're close to it because of your Lightspeed bundle anyway. What I would say is make sure you have enough gear for SLKR for when you unlock him. But it is okay to, put a little bit of prominence towards these small farms in the short term, in between things, because they're not going to slow you down very much. And because of like Zetas and because of Rebel Officer Leia, you kind of almost want to be slowed down also. I know you want to get the Kairos for SK. I think Jabba is more important, but I think you can do SK because you're going to be waiting on Rebel Officer Leia. This is going to be a choice of, do you want to be more efficient, and get Jedi Master Luke faster, or do you want to more passively waste less resources? So it's a different kind of efficiency, where that might be a team that you go to while you're waiting for those Rolo shards. I don't think that there's a wrong answer. But once you hit Jedi Master Luke and once Rebel Officer Leia is no longer a hurdle for you, then I think Jabba becomes your next really super important farm. In terms of GL fleets, going for Jabba, going for for JML, it puts you in terms with Outrider, and it's going to give you some of those Rebel things that you need. Profundity just makes sense at that point. If you're hitting 1 by that point with a 5-star Executor, you don't necessarily need to rush it, but it's going to give you something that's maybe a little bit more reliable, especially moving forward as we move into the next set of fleets after Leviathan. So once again, you can pepper those really small farms that you're already talking about in now. And then when you ask about your other core teams that you want to do, I personally believe you should wait till after Java. The game opens up a lot after Java. You're gonna want Java for modding, and modding is gonna be a significant issue for you going forward, because you have a newer account that is trying to rush forward, and you're not gonna build that out as fast as you want. So I think that that's the best route for you. And again, Ray, you kind of do afterwards. You don't want to waste the Lightspeed bundle you got with Ray, but you also have things that are just way more important than her right now, especially when you're not really maxed out on those Proving Ground characters anyway, where you'd want something like Ben Solo in there, or you'd want some of the newer characters like Baby Cal in there, which you don't necessarily need right now, if that makes sense. Whew. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Yes, no, maybe, possibly. Put on some Jeopardy music, get our copyright strike for the day. And while you're waiting for my answer here, once again, if you're not on our Discord yet, what the hell are you doing? Pop on our Discord. We are exploding. We got crazy stuff going on there. Especially like the territory battles library that we're building out right now, which I'm super excited for. It's going to be insane, the resource that is going to provide for people. Let's see, I got another ally code here. It's always once I put in the new ally code that somebody comes back and go, oh, I had one more question. 113 992 739. Oh, there it is. See, told you. I'm gonna load this and then I can always go back to it and let's check it out. You know, when it comes to normal conquest and hard conquest, all you really have to do is hit the first crate and it's better. It does really come down to data discs a lot of the times for people. I think that let's see, 1, 2, I mean, you can use C3PO. I'd bring him to 85 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think whether or not you are hard conquest viable or not is going to largely depend on whether you want to go far or you just want better rewards. I think with where you are right now, you probably can hit that first box with CLS. But if you really want to like push and you're like, oh, I want to like explore more in Conquest, you're probably going to struggle to get out of like Sector 2 or Sector 3. So, you know, I don't know if that really necessarily answers your question, but based on what you have with Luke, I can see you getting that first box at the very, very, very least. You know, Conquest is going to be tough, but I could see you getting at least that first box. And again, that's basically the same thing as finishing all of normal Conquest. Daft Lightside, Kyber 3, 201. Dank and JarJar, do me a favor, because I'm doing this right off of the game. I don't have you guys on Discord. If you are in our Discord, just tag me in a message so that I can give you the weighed and measured tag. for testimonials, and I mean JarJar, we're looking at yours now though at 10.1. You know, we kind of hit this earlier in the stream where at this point there's not a lot that I can offer people that they wouldn't already know to do on their own. 3, 4, we got 5. I'm assuming you're going for Gungans with your name, right? Yeah. Yep. So Gungans are the answer. It doesn't make sense not to do that, just because of where you're at. And that's kind of what I was saying to Dank, I think, to Dank before. Interesting. JarJar, how you doing on your Fury shards? If you're still here. I have no idea if you're still here, if I'm completely honest. Dagger. Yeah, guys, you can't sleep on your ships. Okay. B28. More what to R8 first. You were asking about ROTE, right? You were kind of saying like what, how to help you in ROTE. Is that kind of what we were looking at? 250. I would really prioritize Leviathan. I'll tell you that right now. Can I sort by relic levels? No, because why would they let me do that? I mean, you've been on enough of my streams to know that Night Sisters are my top team in ROTE. I really do love them. We were having this conversation earlier about like what to R7, what to R8, and what I was basically saying to people is what you need to ask yourself is what is something earning you? How many stars are you doing in TB, your guild? You know, doing a relic level increases your ability, your character's strength. Level 4 miles away. It increases your guild's strength or your character's strength, but it doesn't always increase your guild's ability to do something. Or I keep saying guild because I'm also trying to deploy in territory battles. If 4 months away, okay, so you are working on it. If doing a relic level makes a character stronger, but it doesn't allow you to do something, then it's kind of senseless. You know, it doesn't really offer you anything. I will tell you as a short term, 31, 32. Are you guys even doing day 4 planets yet? Probably just as mostly deploy only, right? You already have the Hot Cartel team. Again, my Night Sisters are something that it looks like you did Asajj 4 platoons. And by the way, you don't even need Asajj. In day 4 neutral, you can 4-man and in the open CMs, and I take Asajj out. I platoon her and I do a 4-man and I beat those day 4 battles, which is kind of cool. What I basically look for when I'm talking strictly about TB though, is I look for the teams that are hard required for things, right? So Inquisitors, for example, there are hard requirements of, oh, you need Inquisitors for this node, that node. So they're a good option for R8ing, 3-star and 2-star. Inquisitors are a really good option for it, and I'm assuming, I don't think I see Reva, but you know, you might. I would say you want 4 of them to R8 because Reva is going to be the one that that you're also going to R8. They're a solid solid group. The Jedi Master Luke team, you know, I took them to R8. My Jedi Knight Luke is R9 because of platoons. They do really, really well on Lothal. And it'll bring you closer to that R9 JML that everybody wants you to have. I don't really give a shit about. You did, but she's not, okay. She's a front runner for me. That team is a front runner for me to R8 personally. For that specifically. 1, 2, 3. And you have a team that can Leia in that. Bane first, okay. That's fair. Bane is a monster. Even at R5, I've been using him at R5, and he's a beast. Like a beast of a character. But I think if we're looking, hey, I really want to do ROTE teams and I really want to help my guild there, Inquisitors, solid choice. Night Sisters, solid choice. Jedi, solid choice. I really personally, Phoenix was one I really wanted to get to R8, and then Gungans were announced, so mine are all R7. They're a solid choice in neutral, going up to neutral territories, and then once they get to day 4, you have the R8 Phoenix node. So you want to look for teams that are requirements, right? And that's kind of what you have to kind of check out, and see as you go up the nodes, like what you're gonna have to have. And do those things. And I don't think any of those teams are going to cause you issues. Like Night Sisters, they're great in territory wars. They're great in GAC. They're amazing in Conquest for me. That Jedi Master Luke team, they work all around, and having Jedi Master Luke is going to help you all around. That Inquisitor team with Reva, they're amazing in TB. They're amazing in TW. They're amazing in Conquest. These are all really rock solid teams all around that you can kind of push for, and that'll overall really help your success. Just also keep in mind that your Gungans are R5, and you are going to need R8 Gungans if the raid structure stays the same. So if you, for someone who's kind of like whaled or soft whaled on them, to leave them at R5 and not get those full 22.7 million points is kind of silly. So that's a team that, for me, is like a front runner to say, hey, I really should do this. I also largely think, I don't know what your thoughts are on TB Omicrons, I'm doing that Tarpals Omicron. And I think that they're going to be insane in TB, going up that light speed path. I'm really excited for them at R9 to see if they'll be able to do the Ring of Kafrine mission. So, if we're talking about strictly territory battles teams, you want to look for things that are going to help you overall in other aspects of the game, and I think that those are some of your front runner options that are going to be best case scenario for you. So I hope that helps, but I would also be prioritizing Leviathan, so that you can kind of like build out all of your GL fleets. With that said, I know I got one more here, Limestone, who is probably on because you had messaged during the stream. I have no abilities to try. Yeah, I'm keeping them at R5 until the event as well, and I'm going to R9 them all after the event. I know I have one more Limestone who may or may not be on the stream right now. I hear my wife rustling upstairs, and we do have some stuff to do today. So, Limestone, I apologize for today. I am going to put you on the list for the next one, and you'll be the first one up. I do this every Sunday, but I do have things that need to get done today. So I apologize that you're here, but hopefully you'll still tune in next week, next Sunday, to be able to do that for you, and you'll be at the top of the list for it. Otherwise, my wife will get mad if we don't go grocery shopping before we go to this movie. You guys, if you're not on Discord, pop on our Discord, and you know, whatever you got to do, share our Discord, tell your guild, tell your alliance. I tell you, this is gonna be insane. We're popping off. Everybody have a great rest of your weekend. I look forward to brunch next Sunday, and a couple other cool things that hopefully we'll be doing throughout